Hello to all that are following along. This is your July 8, 2018 corrections and confirmations update, as promised on the 2nd of July World UFO Day. In that release, I think it important to mark this day with any potential disclosure updates generally, but specifically since this has timed in well to my own happenstances. Also, there are world events that I am importantly allowing some room for, to happen this season by others in other places. There will be in fact a series of releases I hope to the public over the next months, each as exciting as the last. In fact, this probably will continue now forevermore. Please be patient with me, as I need to do all of the other things a person has to do in normal life, as well as now run this series, decode and teach in some cases the world a new extremely ethereal language which needs a much higher level of consciousness at all times to work with and be able to comprehend. And the public will need time to absorb and adjust to the news each time it is released. And yes, the what if list is correct in all aspects. Subject to proper verification by our best and honest experts. I am hoping if this list release can be verified scientifically without agenda or prejudice, that its release on the 8th of July 2018 can mark this day forever for all minds. In all places. Many may find the list shakes them to the core. I know that during my discoveries as I sat at my desk and uncovered the first few sentences of correctly spelled and abbreviated English text from the codings, that the full realization and reality of what had now been discovered, left me shaken for many hours, and I was unable to continue works for quite some time. Some long walks in the gardens here were needed to settle the nerves. Especially since the message topics and contents were so powerfully constructed, I knew a much higher intellect was at work here. I am hoping that since there has been a long series of failures to get help with my decoding discoveries, that now going public will draw enough attention to the fact that this phenomenon is well beyond one single person's abilities in a lifetime to decode properly, or assess properly, and therefore should be within the domain of the public as a whole, and available to all branches of science, to work with to continue to unravel the phenomenon, and discoveries made, also to extract the remainder of the findings. Especially since there are directed messages to high-profile individuals, sensitive content, and time-limited urgent messages amongst other things. I am hoping university, government, and military representatives will step forward to begin the process of a thorough analysis. And that analysis results remain continually updated to the public. I also hope people research the significance of the July 8th date and fully understand why I picked it. I think that the paranormal communities who have already well-conditioned minds for task are going to be very important and much needed to fully understand all aspects of these findings, as they already resonate with that higher consciousness that has been demonstrated to exist within the whole phenomenon. As too will scientists from around the world with correct mindset be needed. I will be nominating one scientist in particular to guide the way forward if he should volunteer. I think it will take a world coming together over this in discussion and talent to fully comprehend it. Many will have realized by now I have not released the source of the materials being analyzed. This will soon be realized when the first of the decodings are selected and uploaded to a public space for all to see. Every member of the public around the world will then soon be able to do their own analysis and decodings of the source materials. However, the materials are vast, and new materials are being discovered daily. This may not be the obvious source many are thinking. Governments and militaries around the world have fallen into their own traps and propaganda. Their own failings to provide options for this type of discovery to go through friendly, official channels has led to everything needing to be publicly disclosed. I hope they can now see that their lack of disclosure is putting the security of the whole world at risk by their denial of things that should have been soft disclosed many decades ago. Airspaces need to be monitored by the public, as it is clear that both friend and enemy can evade radar at will, and get to ground level in many forms, and be in contact with individuals using many methods for many reasons. Governments should stop pretending to be in control of airspaces as they never have or will be, until disclosure and contact. With disclosure and contact out of the way, airspaces here on Earth may then get monitoring help, but only in a post-disclosure world. We need to get there with urgency. The public should demand this and not be fooled any longer by ridicule controls by a group possibly laying outside of presidential or governmental controls. If anybody should deny me proceeding before the 8th of July 2018, the public can rest assured that a sort of dead man's trigger has already been set to commence by the intelligent source inscribers of the discovered messages, and that they will just continue to unravel over and over again automatically. The source suppliers of the code have ensured that the source code will remain in the public domain forever, and cannot be retracted or covered up, and that upon somebody pointing it out to the public they will readily be able to decode, and read the messages, themselves. This is checkmate. Game over. To the age of non-disclosure. Since there is quite some evidence for a really ugly history to scientists and paranormal people's safety after breaking news of inventions and discoveries, I do hope that I don't end up prematurely removed via artificial means, in a state revenge scenario or other, so I assure people I am currently in good health and have much medical data to back this up, and my parents lived well into late age. It's a complete shame this has to be even mentioned, and highlights deeply embedded problems. I think the current President of the United States, President Donald Trump, has recognized many of these problems and is handling some of these problems currently very well. In a continuing process, we cannot hope him to complete overnight, and if America makes change then the world will follow. The encoders have encouraged that a worldwide, combined international effort will need to proceed cooperatively to unlock all aspects of this phenomenon. I think though this current process I have set in motion most likely could continue unhindered, as it will take some time to complete all studies. While America and the rest of the world positions for the inevitable. Should all findings be verified, I nominate it be, Combined World Military, or world-nominated representatives to present to the exchange point with the allocated exchange items under 24/7 public camera observation. A moon landing type event. I suggest importantly that a representative of the Eisenhower family should also be asked to be present. These things can be discussed once the messages are fully decoded. I think enough said in this round of disclosure, and I hope things work out well for a post-disclosure, post-contact world. Greetings to all our extended families wherever they may be. May we combine to meet soon.